you. Thank you.
Okay, guys, we are on May 19th, 2026. We are in element 14, transitioning to eating healthy for life. So this is a very important position that we're in. In fact, Raquel has a great story she was telling me this morning about transition and how, it actually works. So, and we're moving into calling it refine. That's the refine stage. It's so important. It's like when the orthodontist gives you a retainer to keep your teeth in place after you've taken the braces off, it's that important. We have to keep them settled in a place for life. So, all right, element 14. Average time to complete 2 to 4 weeks. In element 14, we will learn how to transition from phase 1 of the weight loss phase, which we're now calling the reset, to phase 2, which is focused on learning how to eat healthy for life. That's the refine, the transition phase. And then we move in now to renew. We become a new person. We have a new identity. We are a person that is healthy, and we've got to make that mindset. So we're going to also create a transition plan that works for you, because transition can be different for everyone. Empower yourself to make choices that will support long-term weight management and help you generate optimal health and well-being. So, Raquel, that's why we broke down your specific, because you're doing the metabolic flip 5-in-1 program versus somebody doing the 5-in-1 versus somebody doing the 4-2-in-1. You have to come up to a certain TEE, and somebody else has to come up to a certain. I just had a guy that he has to get his calories up to 2,400 calories to be able to maintain a healthy weight, and then some of us gals only get to bring it up to 1,800 or 2,000. So that's why transition is different for each person, why it's so important to work with your coach, step by step, week by week, with precision. So we've helped you reach a healthy weight at this point. Your first step on the journey to optimal health. And again, we run to refine. We don't dawdle in that reset. Some people get stuck dawdling. We don't want to dawdle. We want to run to refine, and then get through that refine precisely and get to that renew and being a healthy person. Because after the after is the life that Optavia provides for us. So, we will now use the next two elements to transition you from your weight loss regimen to mastery of eating healthy in all situations, so you can sustain long-term weight management by introducing the knowledge, tools, and habits of health necessary to sustain an optimal weight throughout your life. This element is the transitional lesson from your weight loss regimen, and will give you the ability to expand and add the full range of healthy foods. Did you hear that? Full range of healthy. Now, full range is huge, but also healthy choices. We've got to know, we've got to get the mindset, we've got to understand, and shift your focus to healthy eating for life. The amount of weight you lost will determine how long you will be in the transition period and how much time it will take you to master this element. And it's important to note that everyone transitions differently, just like we just talked about. If you had a lot of weight to lose and you have been on the journey for a while, your transition will be a little slower. But there is an advantage to this, and you will have more time to study and absorb how to eat healthy and beyond. If you only had a few pounds to lose, or if weight was not an issue, your transition will be quick. The good news is you now have added to your skills and tools to stay healthy for the rest of your life. And your coach is still there to support you on this leg of your journey. And recognize, in optimization, oftentimes people shift to once a week. That's not something you have to do. I encourage at least the first couple of months still being in contact with your coach once a week. But we do want to get you to a place where you feel like you're standing on your own 2 feet, but still connecting with the coach. Remember, everything we have is what creates a place where we can be a healthy person. That's one of the reasons that we encourage coaching. It's it's because it keeps you accountable. It keeps you plugged into the 4 components. It keeps you plugged into the 6 macro habits. And those are so valuable. And if you're not a coach, sometimes you don't plug into those. You fall away. Dan Bell last night was talking on a training about how you are maintenance isn't something that happens. There is no such thing as maintenance or there's no such thing as maintenance in business. There's no such thing as maintenance in our health. There's no such thing. You are moving forward or you are moving backwards. What do you want? We have to stay plugged in to be able to move forward in our health. And for the rest of our life, we want to be striving for greater health. What does that take? It just takes plugging in. Wow. That was all from me instead of the book. So how do you know when to transition? Let's review when phase 1, the weight loss phase, ends and phase 2, your healthy weight phase, begins. As illustrated in the diagram below by the orange line, when your BMI is below 25, your waist circumference is 37 or less for a man, 31.5 inches for a woman or less. If you are measuring your body fat, optional, the percentage is 18% for a man and 25% for a woman to be at a healthy weight by numbers. So we start obese, and then we move down to phase 1, which is weight loss, and then we move down to phase 2, which is a healthy weight, and then we move down to phase 3, which is optimization, and then we move down to phase 4, which is longevity. And it shows you right there, that line, that orange line that I created is where our waist circumference has come down, and if we do the body, the fat percentages, that's where it hits. And phase 2 is the transition or refined stage. So there is considerable research that supports these numbers as a reliable indicator of your risk for disease. It becomes quite low once you have reached this level of weight management. When you actually decide to stop losing weight and start transitioning is your choice. If you have a lot of weight to lose, you may think you will never get down to those numbers. That belief is usually based on years of being overweight and previous attempts and failures to change. You may be hesitant to set what seems like such ambitious goals. That's okay. The good news is that every day you are in phase 1, you simply get up and focus on that day. Eventually, you will reach a point when you are ready. It may be when you reach the numbers, or it may be before then. And like all of our other micro habits, you will find that your body will continue to respond to the program and you will continue to improve your numbers. Each pound means the loss of more unhealthy fat. So you do not need to decide when you are ready to transition until you have reached the goal that you have chosen for yourself. If you were at a best weight back in high school or college, that will probably be close to where you will want to transition. Or you will just find what feels like the right weight for you. But remember, the healthy targets and numbers we discussed above. And if that weight freaks you out, then set a target weight you think is reasonable and then reevaluate once you have reached that target. Also, consult with your support community to hear others' experiences of what they when they transitioned, and of course, work with your coach. So what would be a healthy weight that would take your BMI down to under 25? And there's a spot to write that down for you. So 140, it would get me down to a BMI of 24. I'm actually below that right now. And you figure out how tall you are, and you figure out, and there's actually a chart in here too. So what is your current weight? In 1/15/2020, I was 173 pounds. Current weight circumference. At that same date, I was 31.5 for my waist. Your current waist circumference. So write all that stuff down and put dates beside it every time you hit this place. I love to have that in my journal. So what are your thoughts on when you will transition? Write it down. Have you discussed this with your coach? I said no at that point. Micro habits that support the macro habits of a healthy weight. Sleep, stress, water, fueling the body. That was my little side note. Premature slowing of weight loss. Oh, these are good ones. I have these highlighted and I have these, I know these to talk to clients about. Premature slowing of weight loss. If your weight loss slows way down or stops before you reach your goal, it may be because you're eating something off plan, usually high glycemic carbs that take you out of fat burning state. And we don't even recognize it. And the crazy thing is it makes us a little bit crazy for more. You may be at a plateau, which can happen if your basal metabolic rate is low to start with, because we mess with our basal metabolic rate with all of the yo-yo dieting that we do, all of the highs and the lows, and we eat high glycemic and then we don't eat anything forever, and that's that metabolic syndrome. That's what creates disease, is that we eat a lot and high, and then we have nothing, and it creates that corrosion on our mitochondria, our little power plants. So, let's see. You may be at a plateau, which can happen if your basal metabolic rate is low to start with and goes below the calories you are taking in on the program as you lose weight. Usually picking only deep green choices in your lean and green can reverse that trend. But I have also found eliminating your snacks and being very careful with your condiments can get you back into fat burning. Consult with your coach and support network if it does not help. One thing, I have never had anybody on a true plateau. When we've gone through a systems analysis, I've always found that there was something off. They were eating onions and didn't realize that they were higher glycemic. They weren't, a huge one is they weren't eating enough. I find people not getting a fueling in here or there. In fact, I just had this last week. I had a gal, she's like, well, last week there were several times that I didn't get 2 of my fuelings in. I'm like, no, double up when you get to that time. You need every calorie. It's very important to eat. It's very important to eat 6 times a day, but if you totally can't, get those calories in at least in that macronutrient balance. Very, very important. Lots of different things, I have a systems check that I go through by sending them over to the modules. And we always find that there's actually something that's off. And usually if you have food crazies, it's not because you were off today. It's because you were off the day before or the day before that. It creates that. So once you have decided on your goal weight and are getting close to your target weight, you will start planning for your transition. Are you ready? Write it down. Have you talked to your coach yet? Write it down. Okay, transitioning. While you have been in phase 1, we have focused on decreasing your weight by eliminating the unhealthy extra fat in your body, which will dramatically improve your health and fitness. We've taught you a series of new eating habits that have lowered your total energy consumption and improved the quality of food you are now eating. We have specifically limited some of the foods you ate previously and reduced the total amount of calories to turn on fat burning state that eliminates the extra fat stored by your body. You are now at a point where you have reached a healthy weight and have modified your body weight set point and accomplished your first major desired outcome. Read part 2.8 in Dr. A's Habits of Healthy Eating for Life, your transition to permanent health, for a detailed explanation, your body's set point. But in simple terms, you have increased the normal release of leptin to balance your hunger and minimize insulin secretion to avoid excess fat storage. So that paragraph there is so powerful, so important. Make sure that you read that one again and again. And here's the next paragraph. Your body is much healthier, and by protecting your muscle from being cannibalized, because we have flipped the metabolic switches to fat burning, your body composition has improved. In order to continue making progress, we need to transition your body to the full range of healthier foods that will allow you to eat more variety of meals and yet choose the foods that help support your long-term health and weight. And we need to make sure we do not add too many calories or overstimulate insulin by adding high glycemic foods in this process of transition, phase 1 to phase 2. Again, those 2 paragraphs are so very valuable. So I'm going to say read those 2 paragraphs again and again today. Because you have lost weight, it's important that the total calories that you consume is reduced. You have lowered your total size, and we need to increase the set point that will allow you to gradually expend more energy. This is why it matters how much you eat, to keep the balance of the set point so you can compensate, increase leptin, reduce insulin, and prevent transitional weight gain. The transition to your lifetime health eating strategy consists of 2 parts. Okay, so again, all 3 of those paragraphs, we have to understand that during this. All 3 of those paragraphs. If you can read those again and again and again today to get those in your head. So important. Okay, so part 1. Determine your TEE, your total energy expenditure. Adding calories, and this is in the app. You can actually look this up in your app when you're looking at things. Determine your total energy expenditure. Adding calories until you reach your body's set weight point. Calories in, calories out. So remember, we're moving from fat burning to calories in, calories out. And that transition is week by week by, this week you're actually going to see a gain on the scale. It's okay though, because that's the shift. We will lose week 1. We will lose week 2. Week 3, it's going to be a 3 to 5 pound gain. But you're not going to have head crazies, because guess what? Week 4, you're going to lose again. Week 5, you might even lose again, because calories in, calories out are not going to be, you're not going to be up to your total calorie expenditure yet until we get you up to where you're optimizing and maintaining that weight. So part 2, your transition eating plan. This is where we're introducing a full range of foods to support optimal health and maintain your healthy weight. So part 1, determining your TEE. You know what? I better stop there. So we'll finish this.